Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare जय जय श्री राधा माधव भगवान की जय। जय जय श्री राधा गोपीचंद वल्लभ भगवान की जय। जय श्री निताय पतित पावन गौर हरि भगवान की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरे कृष्ण जय श्री प्रभुपाद। I seek blessing from all the devotees here and in the Zoom. Okay, so almost, not almost, all of the devotees present here are more senior. They are way senior from me. So I hesitate to speak anything before them. But please bless me so that as your child I can speak before you something on this transcendental matter as a matter of duty. We will be discussing on Srimad Bhagavatam 4:13-22. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय श्रीमद्भागवतम 4:13-22 किं वामो वेन उद्दिश्य किं वामो वेन उद्दिश्य ब्रह्मदण्डम् अयुयुजन् दंडव्रतधरे राज्ञी मुनयो धर्मकोविदा किं वामो वेन उद्दिश्य ब्रह्मदण्डम् अयुयुजन् दंडव्रतधरे राज्ञी मुनयो धर्मकोविदा
किं वामो वेन उद्दिश्य
ब्रह्मदण्डम् अयुयुजन् दंडव्रतधरे राज्ञी
मुनयो धर्मकोविदा किं वामो वेन उद्दिश्य
ब्रह्मदण्डम् अयुयुजन् दंडव्रतधरे राज्ञी मुनयो धर्मकोविदा किं वामो वेन उद्दिश्य Brahmadandam ayuyujan Dandavrata ragi Munayo dharma kovida. Synonyms, word to word meaning. Kim, why? Va, also. Amha, sinful activities. Vene, unto Vena. Uddishya, see. Brahmadandam, the curse of a Brahmana. Ayuyujan, the desire to avoid. Dandavrata dhare, who carries the rod of punishment. Ragni, unto the king. Munaya, the great sages. Dharma Kovida, completely conversant with religious principles. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Translation. Vidura also inquired, how is it that the great sages who were completely conversant with religious principles desired to curse King Vena, who himself carried the rod of punishment, and thus awarded him the greatest punishment, Brahmasapa? Purport by His Divine Grace, S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is understood that the king is able to give punishment to everyone, but in this case, it appears that the great sages punished him. The king must have done something very serious. Otherwise, how could the great sages, who were supposed to be the greatest and most tolerant, still punish him in spite of their elevated religious consciousness? It appears also that the king was not independent of the Brahminical culture. Above the king was the control of the Brahmanas, and if needed, the Brahmanas would dethrone the king or kill him, not with any weapon, but with a mantra of a Brahmasapa. The Brahmanas were so powerful that simply by their cursing, one would immediately die. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Once again, I seek blessings from all the devotees to discuss or speak on this topic. Where do we start this? Plotting control is gone. I can bring that back to stop. In the Zoom, I wanted to stop sharing, but I lost that plotting with plotting controls because I closed. Yeah. Right. So here we have started this new chapter of description of the descendants of Dhruv Maharaj. So one of the descendants, like after any of the like descendants, when it is discussed in Bhagavatam, we'll see when there is not specific mentions of the special devotees or the Lord's pastimes, then it just goes like this, just by reading the names. And here again, it started a new pastime because Prithu Maharaj will come. So that's why this Venus pastimes. So okay, so here like Vena, so here like it is asked like how come, so Vidura inquires, how is it that the great sages were completely conversant with religious principles, desired to curse the king and kill him? So very nicely, like from this particular like chapter and this pastimes, like the value of or the system of like the political hierarchy is detailed. Like from here only, Prabhupada always used to give that kings are not independent always. Like now also it appears like in democracy, it appears that who is voted, he is independent, but he is not independent. We can see the people who are getting elected, they have no qualification. They can't run the show, but they have so many other officers, administrative officers. Like in US, maybe there will be some grades. Like in India, we have IS officers, the secretaries and all. So they know in and out of everything, the policies and everything which is done. Who knows? See, the prime minister or any minister will come for 5 years. He would not know much of the things, but the people who are there in the system from decades and decades, so they know. They'll just present these things. So he'll just see that which is good for the people, which is not good for the people. And at least he should be in a caliber of deciding that. So if he is well conversant with the Shastras and scriptures, then he can at least do. Or otherwise he'll do his own personal benefits like nowadays it does. So the main point is the person or single person or a group of person who are on the throne to rule the world or rule the state, they are not all in all. There are always the intellectual people behind it who really suggest him. So what is good, what is bad. So like that, like we have administrative officers, okay, and all intelligent people in every disciplines and domains. They represent those things. The like present make the documents and present it to the it's a current king, okay, or the prime minister is there, or the minister who is responsible. So just to make it enforce it on the citizens. Like that, the king also was like that. So king would have all the knowledge. So they went to Gurukul and to learn like what is good, what is bad, how to do the Raj Shastra, to learn. So how to diplomatically manage. Because the Brahmanas has the knowledge, but they would not do that. Okay? Because they would not take the like weapons on their hand. They would not like go and make sure that law enforcement is in order and all. Like the police department is there, so they will enforce that law and order. But it is not the higher authorities' direct job to do that. So like that, so the king should go to the Gurukul and learn. So they will say, so how to maintain it, how to maintain the situation so that the people in general will have peaceful life to execute devotional services, to do bhakti. If that is lost, then everything is lost. So here, so the Brahminical principle, so the Brahmanas will be so powerful, but they'll give the knowledge to the king. The king's responsibility is to enforce those on the people. So there is a proper hierarchy. Like in common this one, like I remember in our offices, so if there is some at higher position, if someone is there, so there is a gradation, and there is like it is what called that separation of duties would be there. Like if architect is there, so architect would not touch. Although he would know, he will just suggest to the SME or the technical person that yes, I'm giving this. Although I have access just to see whether it is done or not, but I will not go and check that. I'll not do it myself. So there is separation of duty. So like that, it is not that every little thing what we see in our day-to-day lives, even in home also, like sometimes the senior devotees, Vaishnavas, they give plan. They say multitasking, multitasking. You see at your home how your mother is doing multitasking. So every little thing which we see, it is already derived from our way old our Vedic scriptures or the knowledges. Everything is there. How to maintain it, how to do separation of duties, how not to overcome or step into other shoes. So maintain that. So in Vedic scriptures, it was maintained. So Brahmanas should maintain their sovereignty. They will just give the knowledge. But here, apatkalin situation again. Here emergency came. What to do? If emergency came, then you have to do. Okay, so manager also had to do some work. And if manager is not there, then some of the leaders has to act as manager. Like in the classes, if teacher is not there, he'll say, "Okay, you are the monitor. Let's just see that everything is working till the time I come back from the break." So like that here, the emergency situation came. So when became so much like uh, sinful person. Okay, so actually the whole pastime will come, but it already started. It started with this that Vena was so sinful that the Brahmanas cursed and killed him. So directly here, like the climax is first shown. Like in movies also, if you see, there are two kind of things. First, they will build up the plot, and later they just remove the climax. And sometimes they'll directly give the climax thing, then they'll explain, come to it, what happened. So here, different kind of, so every kind of story building, everything is there in Bhagavatam also. Sometimes from ascending order, or sometimes show the climax and then build up the plot. So here, this kind of thing. So first he told that Bena was killed. So immediately Vidura, Bena was killed. How? Okay. What happened? So how has been and these Brahmanas who are so convergent, are tolerant. So he's highlighting two qualities here from the Brahmanas that they should be tolerant and merciful. Titiksha Karunika. But they lost these things. They could not tolerate Vena, their king, and they did not become merciful to Vena. They killed him by curse. How is that? Okay, so that explanation anyway will come. But now, because of the emergency situation, they had to take this path. And Prabhupada highlights that that time the Brahmanas they were so powerful. They need not to take the weapon. Okay, the Vani in their speech, it was so much powerful because they have austerity. And Guru Maharaj is saying two people they had very powerful power in very much power in speech. The Brahmanas and just ladies. So they have so much power in their speech. If they say something, it will happen. Like is it truthful? So this Brahmanas earlier they had the power. If they curse, then it will happen. But nowadays, if someone act like a Brahman, he'll say, like in India, in some temples, he'll say, some Brahmans will say, okay, you will not do, you will not give the dakshina, then your coming to this holy place will not be successful, I curse. But that is just to get some more dakshina, so that people will be, "अरे, ये फालतू में मेरा डिस्टर्ब कर देगा पूरा मेरा दान तीर्थ यात्रा इसलिए 10-20 रुपए 100 रुपए दे दो इसको." Apart from that, there is no other benefit. But earlier, these Brahmanas they had power because they were holding the shastras. Okay? Not anything else. They were not interested in building their wealth. They were just be in their situation that they would read the Shastras perfectly so that they can give perfect instructions to the king how to run this show in this material world. Because, like the demigods, Brahma, everyone has some responsibilities in this world. They realize it and they diligently, like, but they diligently execute their duties. Like that, earlier the Brahmanas also they would know that yes, this is our responsibility that we should know the Shastras perfectly. What is required, what Lord Vishnu is saying. Okay? And that how through this administrative people, through the king and the whole system of administration, you can enforce this and maintain the sovereignty in the society. They would do that. But current situation, there is nothing. So because in Kali Yuga is everything is lost. Okay, so there is no austerity in speech. Then there is where the power in speech will come. So it is nothing that someone would say something, then it would happen. That's why it is not very much seriously considered when someone says something. Okay? But the problem is it acts within the heart. So the speech, that's why it is whenever you say just at least speak nicely, speak sweetly. Okay. But if you want to do any harm with the speech, okay, you cannot. Like you will say, okay, now you die. No, you will die. Or you'll say, you suffer from corona. So that will not happen. So you cannot do these kind of the actions will not like that. Okay, like earlier it used to work. Because in Kali Yuga, like in 12th chapter, there are so many degradations. So specifically it is said like the path of Vedas will be completely forgotten. So when Vedic knowledge itself is lost, then how can the austerity and speech will come? And in human society, the so-called religion is mostly atheistic. So Vedic knowledge all gone. So they say don't read Vedas. These are all myths. Someone wrote this is not required. Now only new technology, science and all is required, which will bring you some job and some money. That's it. So then, while discarding Vedas, if you discard Vedas, even after reading Vedas, also people were getting bewildered. That who is exactly the Lord? Who are the subordinates? Okay, who is the perfect? That also people were getting bewildered. And if you completely discard the Vedas, then what will happen? The all the supremacies which were established through the Vedic knowledge that is lost. Now everyone questions why God? Why God? If you don't read Vedas, then you will ask that question only. If you read only science, then you will say, okay, whoever like written those books, they are the only great. They are only maybe making. Or somebody is happening, but at least these guys are revealing the what is the chemical composition within that. So because they discarded Vedas completely, they discarded Lord also. They become atheistic. Okay, if you remove the principle, then the object is also gone. So, and the kings are mostly the thieves. There is no need to explain much about this because the kings are so much powerful and we are going live stream on YouTube. So, so, but everyone knows. Okay. So although there is freedom of speech, okay, but it is it is highly fabricated. Okay. So when up to whenever possible, it is yes, it is there. As long as the king feels, yeah, it should be given to her. That's fine. Or otherwise, it is not. An occupation of a man will be stealing, lying, and needless violence. This is the only thing is remaining, and social classes will be reduced to lowest level of sudras. Okay, so no one would be interested in worshipping the deities, maintaining a very cleanly and sober life. Because everyone, although they need happiness, but they do not want to endeavor anything towards happiness. They want to remain in the like grief, okay, completely disturbed mode. Okay. Otherwise, in phone there is do not disturb mode and not completely disturb mode. But how much time we keep it in do not disturb mode? Almost never. Even if classes, sometimes if like some Maharaj came or some senior person, they announce, put the phone in do not disturb mode or silent mode or switch it off. Then also one or two phones will ring. So there is no do not disturb mode. In our lab, always disturb mode only. There is no airplane mode, no do not disturb mode. So even while traveling also, although it is told, put your phone in airplane mode, then also they will not. So we have a tendency that we want to just do something or the other. And because we do not know what the good things to do, referring to the Vedas, so we are doing what we are studying. So this social structure, Vedic studies, because that was lost. So everything is getting lost. So now, because they are reading non-Vedic literatures and everything, so what they do? So just they steal. So speak lie, steal, and needless violence. So Prabhupada always used to say, so they will on big degrees, and what will they? They'll go and beg on a multinational companies, give me job, give me job. And why will he give the job? He will become a big MBA. Big MBA means what he'll do? How tactfully cheat people, so that there cannot be any legal, okay, sue against the company. You make all the disclaimers so much so that no one can read, but they'll just accept. So in that way, they'll make all these arrangements. New way to cheat people. And people also after they know, okay, now we are get cheated, but what to do? They've already taken the consensus. We accepted all terms and conditions without reading. No one can read also, but everything is given. Okay, so like that, like sometimes the like Brahmanas and all. So okay, you do the sankalpa. You do the. He doesn't know what sankalpa. He'll do some mantras. He'll read. Now you did. You committed. Now you give the dakshina. You do this. लाया अभी तो बोल दिया क्या करूँ फिर देना ही पड़ेगा जान छूटे इसको इसके पास अब आएंगे ही नहीं इसके दूसरे बार so, like that these people some or the other new products they will come up new services will come up some are the other terms and conditions. So you will say, no, just go ahead. Anyway, just see his track record. If they are good rating, so let's go with that. But with rating also, you will get cheated. So with this, then how come? If we have no proper access to the Vedic knowledges, the proper terms and conditions, that's why simple. Prabhupada said, leave all these complicated Vedas and all, but at least the Vedanta Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam, if you read, or before approaching that also, if you still think that is too much, Bhagavad Gita, so the Lord has given just a small book. Okay, if you read that, then you can get all the sutras, all the life's terms and conditions, how you should live in this material world. Then at least we have some austerity in speech. And at most, what we can do, our speech can be effective when we chant the Lord's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we may not do any harm to the people. Okay, now may not be that powerful like the Brahmanas earlier. That okay, if I am getting any trouble with my speech, I can just obstruct, okay, and get my all protection from that. But at least we can do some good by chanting the names of the Lord, like chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, like reciting the prayers written by acharyas, written by like so many exalted devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam. If we chant those prayers, at least we will get the spiritual protection. So we'll get the spiritual potency. Like will not be so much disturbed and in grief like the other people. We can realize devotees are not as much disturbed and in grief like the non-devotees. Okay, automatically, we did not endeavor separately for this. When we just started chanting and attending our programs, heard and read this Bhagavatam and other spiritual books written by Srila Prabhupada and other Vaishnavacharyas, when we read, discussed, heard all these things, automatically the, the mind changes. We do not get so much disturbed, and slowly all good qualities develop. So, although we may not be as much powerful as the Brahmanas, but when one chants, like Srila Prabhupada chanting, our chanting, so much difference. Even now, also, if we just play the recording of Srila Prabhupada, we feel that vibration is something different. Because Srila Prabhupada is fully realized, pure devotee. Yeah. So like that also after Prabhupada, so many Prabhupada's disciples, how much powerful they are. We can immediately feel with their association, with their speech. Okay, and how did they get through practice? Okay. Although also they were like specially empowered. Okay. But we cannot say that okay, we are not just empowered what to do now. We cannot do anything. So at least we should practice. Okay. So Anand Krishna Maharaj, when he came, he said, "So if you say no, we are not qualified for sannyas. We are not qualified. Sannyas also like any other diksha, also sannyas also diksha. It is also initiation only. It is also started. It is not that if I got sannyas so that now finished. I'm fully qualified. Now I'm renunciated means I got. That is also called diksha, initiation only. So my practice also started now after taking sannyas. So when we practice all our Vedic like culture and the process of realizing the God, then slowly we'll develop our power and taste in our speech. So at least we can get the power in speech that and we'll have like some loco like everyone would ask how can I get the taste or taste is far but interest in chanting. Okay, so if we keep on chanting, keep on reading, discussing these things again and again, then only sometimes we'll feel that okay, so I will get some interest. That let's try this. At least I may get some better thing. Like by hearing the aids and like the tips and tricks again and again on internet, on TVs and all. So people give up. Okay, let's try. Everyone is advertising so much about this product, so much rating. They say जैसे पूरा पैसा वसूल है इसमें तो थोड़ा पैसा लगा देते हैं इधर so like that let's invest our time or effort or money in this. So when we read and then again and again on the Bhagavatam and all our Vedic pastimes, the histories, then some or the other time we'll get some interest to invest our time and effort or our money, okay, in this for in a desire to get some spiritual benefit. And through that, when we invest our thing, automatically the attachment will develop and the like the Brahminical qualities, the austerity of speech also will come. So with this, I'll pause here for the Bhagavatam. If anyone has any inputs and corrections or questions to discuss, we can do it. Anyone in Zoom, if you want to share anything? Practice, practice, always, even though we understand practice is the only thing, is the valuable thing to maintain the can be like that. How we can overcome Yeah, Nandikatan Prabhu put forward this question. Like every time we discuss, but we are desirous that yes, we have to practice, but every time we are not able to do that, then we lament that अरे यार हमेशा सोचते हैं करना चाहिए लेकिन कर नहीं पाते हैं तो क्या करेंगे उसमें तो we know like we should slowly increase like association is one point and determination we have to keep. Like if we feel little lazy, then it will become like the Maya will force us. if we take a little granted, if we'll say, okay, let's sleep, we 5 o'clock Mangalarti is there. So if I have to wake up at 4:30 to come to Mangalarti, if I slept to 4:35, and if I say anyway Mangalarti I cannot go, I'll go 10-15 late only. So let's sleep what to do. Then I'll say, okay, let's sleep. Now you don't need to go to Darshanarti also. Anyway, Mangalarti is missed. What is the use of now? You go directly in Sunday feast only. So if it become little loose, then Maya will completely make us loose. So we have to make ourselves tight, little tight. So we have to determine that, see, this is it. If I do these little things, then only I can succeed in life. Like, because now after grown up, no one will like chastise us to practice specific things. Like we know for the childrens at home, we are putting so many restrictions for them. They do not want to do by their will, but because they have no choice, they are under our shelter, so they have to do it. Because for us it is not like that, so we think it is okay. But now I cannot explain how can everyone realize that in their life, so that we are in a great trouble in this world. It is not that safe place. So yesterday something I was like thinking. So I was thinking it is so much turbulence. Yesterday or in the Mangala like morning only I was thinking, like, if it is too much mess, then you would not endeavor again to clean that area or clean that stuff. Okay, because you will see that if you start cleaning that, you will get, oh, you will spend more money and effort in that. It's better just to trash it. Leave that place. If it is too much disturbance in one place, you will say just leave it. There is no scope of improvement here. Like this material, there is no scope of improvement. No matter what you do. Okay, so if you have something you got from either way or what, you'll get that much only. The pieces you may get 100 pieces, 200 pieces, but you'll get that much only. Capacity will be there. So this world, whatever is there is there. You cannot increase. People are just selling it in a wrong view that we are giving this, we are increasing, we are improving, we are increasing wealth. How can you increase the wealth in this universe? There is limited quota. Whatever is given is given. Gold, how much is there? How much? That much only is there. Wealth is limited. It is just moving from one place to another place, one person to another person. So like that. And not saying there is no happiness here. Only trouble is here. But still, if we see, okay, we want just happiness somehow or other. कैसे तो करके, हाँ, कहीं कुछ नहीं है, शायद इस्कॉन में ही हमें अभी खुशी मिलेगा। तो ठीक है, इधर आ जाते हैं फिर, और इस्कॉन वाले कहेंगे कि यू प्रैक्टिस दीज थिंग्स, देन नो नो, एक्चुअली आई वांटेड फॉर पीस ऑफ लाइफ, because I am not getting anywhere. I thought if I just chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then I can execute all my material things very nicely. So for a difference, for a few months, for years, you will get. But if you do not endeavor that to turn that, transform that into spiritual practice, then again you will get the detest. So that transformation, the realization has to happen at some point of time. And that will only come when we read Srimad Bhagavatam's pastimes again and again. So you at least read or hear from whomever, you can get that injected within your heart. That you read or hear from Prabhupada or any exalted devotee. Everyone has different taste. Not everyone can take the instructions from everyone. Okay, so किसको कोई काम कर देगा उसमें, तो हमको जो मेडिसिन काम करेगा उस मेडिसिन के पास जाना चाहिए, तो जा करके उनसे सुनेंगे. So sometimes after hearing and again studying, and now also we know the slokas explanations, but sometimes when we go through for 100 times, then we'll click something from there to do. So like that, after doing for so many years and practice and determination, we have to मेक श्योर दैट इधर तो इस जगत में तो कुछ मिलने वाला है नहीं. इवन इफ वी हैव टू डू बिकॉज वी हैव टू रन आवर शो, but our life goal has to be like something higher. So that's why what is required for that. So you have to do that. Otherwise, how we can like everything is okay, but we have to get a nice job for our son. So that's why we know they are cheating. They are taking more money for a graduation. Okay, but what to do? There is no option. So let's put the money getting graduated in a very good university. Like that, we will feel that it is so much troublesome. There's so much service we have to do, so much attention I have to put on this. But we have to make sure that that is the only way. If we put that, then I will get a higher like perfection in afterlife. If that realization we can never get, then what to do? We have the processes, and then again and again we have to practice that. We are all struggling on the same thing, but we have to, when we practice, then some seriousness. Like we can see, we progress. It is everyone. We can see how before few years and now they progress. So like that, when we do that more seriously, पूरा एकदम छटपटाहट होना चाहिए जीवन में कि इधर तो कुछ मिलने वाला है नहीं मुझे, ये चाहे मैं कुछ भी कर लूँ इधर. इसीलिए मेरा एक ही सेल्टर है कि भगवान के कृपा से, गुरु के कृपा से, प्रभुपाद की कृपा से जितना भी मैं जप कर लूंगा, भागवत पढ़ लूंगा, भगवान के बारे में चिंतन कर लूंगा, दैट मच एज आई कैन डू. सो लेट मी डू दैट. देन आफ्टर दैट leave it on Krishna's mercy. You cannot, we cannot claim that I want to go there. So whatever they have instructed us, let us try to do as much as possible, and then leave it over. Then we should not keep a burden of going back to God. That is up to them whether they take us or not. So if we keep that burden, then we will be always morose. अरे जा पाऊंगा कि नहीं जा पाऊंगा, ये अपराध हो गया, वो अपराध हो गया, ऐसा हो गया, वैसा हो गया, और पूरा एकदम हमेशा छटपटा रहे. तो उससे अच्छा है वो जो बोले भगवान, लेट्स डू दैट एज फार एज पॉसिबल, लेट लेट मी डू इट, देन सरेंडर. अभी आपने जो बोला था मैं कर रहा हूँ, जितना हो सकता है कर सकता हूँ. And after that, it's their mercy. They'll take us. Sorry for giving so much gyan. Although we know all these things, but sometimes when we sit together, like we discuss more on that. Everyone can put forward their points and just to make how seriously we can like practice a little more. Thank you very much, everyone. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय.